Greetings, all you internet followers. It is I, that Canadian fangirl, back with another episode of That Canadian Backlog. I'm not telling you today. I want to sing it. It's a recurring thing on the show. So I want to. Today's episode is on an anime that technically I watched. It's on an episode I did watch. I watched one episode years ago, and then I wanted to come back and watch it. Goes und Panzer. And yes, I said that right. I'm pretty sure it's German. No, okay, it's a Japanese anime, but I'm pretty sure the title is German. It's Goes und Panzer, U-N-D, because it's the German word. And Panzer, I'm pretty sure German. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure, but it is a very weird anime that I've always been curious about. I watched one episode years ago. I think I fell asleep because it was late. So I finally watched it. The entire thing. And it's 12 episodes, so. Yeah. It is different. It is very different. The setting of the show is, I think it's supposed to be Earth. But the world building is so weird, I have no idea what this world building even is. Something called tankery is huge, and you have tankery families, which basically the people who drive tanks. And it's about girls learning how to operate tanks, forming tankery kind of clubs, and basically organizing tanks to basically fight other girls from other schools, also in tanks. So it's kind of, it is a sports anime premise, with the premise being girls and, cute girls operating tanks. Trust me, it gets weird. It gets really weird, and that's kind of what's fun. That's kind of what's fun about it. Just because, one, I'm pretty sure it's accurate to, military, stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure they're real tanks. Well, real tanks being subjective because it's anime, but I'm pretty sure they named something real tank brand. I don't know anything about tanks, so I'm just gonna go on the assumption that when they're, name dropping different tanks, these are actual tanks that do exist. So let's start. So our main character, her name is Miho Nisizumi, who is from a distinguished tankery family. Both her mom and her sister are experts in tanks, and they disapprove of how she drives tanks because she's different, so she mostly transfers to a school that doesn't have a tankery program, only for the student council to want to set up a tankery program, and they draft her to basically be the commander. And it's about her and her new friend at the school, and these other girls basically learning the ins and outs of tankery combat and how to tankery combat, and basically organize strategic battle plans to basically outmaneuver and attack other tanks. With into strategic wartime combat, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun watching, the fact that, Mio is a, what's the word? She didn't think of the war commander. Well, she's like, we're gonna go here, you're gonna stop, you're gonna wait, the enemy's gonna come by and then fire. So like, yeah, and that's kind of fun. As someone who plays a lot of strategy games, it is very entertaining seeing that. So other than that, there's not much to goes on Peninsula. I thought it would be kind of neat. The characters are really kind of one note. World building not super strong. It's 12 episodes, and all the girls basically have like one personality trait, and all the other girls in the tankery couple basically are tropes. Like Mio with our main character, who basically the whole thing is tankery trauma that leads to finding this new joint tankery. You have Sayori, who is the typical girl who is talking about being popular and boys. she's fun for that. You have what's her name, who is really good at flower arranging and basically takes a tank because you want to expand, basically your skill set. You have Yukari, who is basically a tank otaku with really big into basically, all, history and, tank stuff. Basically the most knowledgeable one. And then you have Mako, who is probably my favorite character in the group, who is the easy one, who basically is only in tank because they say she can get credits and she can graduate. It's really sleepy, but also really smart, and she's the one who's really good at the tank. I love Mako, because Mako plays the most fun character. But the characters are deep. It's the deeper they get is Miho's trauma, which comes from the fact that the last time she was in a combat session, one of the tanks fell off the track and she basically abandoned the other tank. They're going to go save people in the tank that fell into the river. And they lost the match because of that. Led to her family basically, tell her off because she doesn't, I think it's their way of tanking. And so she moves to the school and learns that, that tanking can be fun. And that is really deep of the show gets. Because, the other characters are deep. The one girl's story about flower arranging is basically just kind of an offhand thing where it's oh yeah, I do both. Okay. None of the characters have arcs. All the other girls in the tank club are basically defined by basically their one gimmick. You have the first year tank, which are basically a group of first years who are really, what's the word? Kind of spacey, they're spacey, they're learning things for the first time, and their whole thing is, what are we doing? What do we do? It's and that's basically their whole thing. You have the volleyball girls who basically will make every single reference to what they're doing in regards to volleyball. You have the history buff girls who basically their whole thing is basically the basically historic battle and historical figures because their whole thing is, and that's their whole thing. You have the Palmondo school discipline girls who basically their whole thing is orderly. They are very law-abiding rules, and that is their whole stick. And eventually you get you have the Vehicle Club, and their whole thing is they fix the tank, then they basically do a bunch of stuff in terms of, maintenance, and that's their thing. And by the end, we get these, otaku girls who basically join the club because they played an online game where they control online tanks, so now they can control real tanks, and that's their whole thing. They get maybe a scene, and that's it. And then you have the student council girl, and the student council's whole thing is, well, they're the student council, and they're basically their plot. Because, as they find out, they started the Angry Club back up again because the school was going to close, and this is how they will keep the school open. I'll swing back to, because that goes in the world building, what I want to talk about. But the student council is mainly just, we want to win, and that's it. And the other thing kind of mind with the student council is the fact that the president's kind of so, whatever in all pros. She's literally she's sitting there on the tank with a cookie that's, munching on a cookie or something like that. It's kind of funny, but there's not much of the student council other than that. But yeah, characters are really that complex. Story is just a sports premise. They're the underdog school that is competing against other schools that are way better, and it's basically a come behind thing because they have to win because their school's gonna get shut down. Again, I'll swing back to that. Other than that, there's no other characters in this. The only other characters in this show are the rival schools, who basically only get the 2 episodes where they're a thing for the the fight, and that's really it. And it took me way too long it took me way too long to realize that the rival schools were all basically based on different countries, because it's not really super apparent. It's like, yeah, I guess the thing going on goes, like, I guess it'll be England because they're drinking tea. Like, the first girl they fight in the tournament, Saunders, I guess it'll be America, with, I want to put together, because there's nothing about them that, screams America outside of maybe the battle, outside of the score. But, I don't know, it's like something when they went to the Pravda school, right? Like, they're supposed to be Russian. With like, it takes place in the snow, they're angry, and there's a couple of references like called Russian stuff, so they're like, okay, yeah, no Russian. It's like, I never would have picked up on, because like, and the only reason I picked up the fact that they were Russian was the fact that it was snowing, they were eating borscht, and they were seeing what couple girls were doing the goose step. And I guess the leader of that school was like really angry. They're like, yeah, Russian. Like, I can't even say it was a good stereotype, it's like, it's weird. And then the final school, I don't even think have a country they're connected to, because they're connected to the plot. Because the final school is Miho's old school, and the commander of that team is her sister. And that is the whole thing, is basically the two of them basically, coming down to basically their idea of tankery. And although it seems like her sister is more okay with Miho, because she's not like resentful or like angry, she's just the quiet stoic one. Her mom seems to have more issues with, the fact that how Miho basically does. I don't know, I can't say it's great. But yeah. Other than that, there's like no character in this thing. Like, there's a couple of side characters with, I'm not like, we meet a couple of the girl's family. Like, I think we see Kelly's parents at one point. I think we see the one girl's mother, and that's and we see if it goes somewhere. No, that doesn't. Marco's got a grandma. There's a couple of storekeepers that they talk to. Everyone's like really gung ho. Yeah. But the thing, the girls on Panzer is a nothing plot, because it's basically just every other sport plot. Characters are nothing to write home about. The only thing that keep that human the girl on Panzer was the world building, which is bizarre. Alright. So this is a world where all the schools are on ships. Like, I think it's like the first episode where they do a pullback, and their school is entirely on a battle tanker, and apparently all of the schools that they compete against are different ships, and the ships dock on the land, and so it's like, okay, so no, they're still cities. They compete in their tank fights on the land, but the schools are on ships, and it's like, so, no, it's not like a post-apocalyptic thing, and not like there's no land. I thought maybe what I said when they did the pullback, it's like, oh, the world was like, the ocean was rolling so much, and basically they do the no land, but like, no, there's land. It's not post-apocalyptic, it doesn't look like in, barren wastelands. Like, no, it looks like every other city. Like, the world looks fine. They already explained it into like one of the OVAs. I watched the 6 OVAs, I watched them, the OVAs. Don't watch the OVAs. I also didn't watch the movie, because like, there's 4 movies, there's like one of the compilation film, I don't want to bother with that, and it's like, the 48 minutes, I'm not going to do the movie. It's like just more of Girls on Panzer, I'm not going to do that. There are like bunch of other material that they animated for Girls on Panzer. I think it's probably promotional stuff. What else? But no. The only thing they said about the whole thing about why the school was on a ship is some guy thought that it would influence better discipline, something about independence at one point, and that it's teaching the girls the ins and outs of basically how to operate a ship. So, apparently, according to OVA number 3, was basically them touring the ship and basically explaining why they're on a ship. It's like 15 minutes. You can basically sign up to basically go to the school and take a ship course where like all they're all girls who basically work on the ship and basically are learning like naval navigation, and like that's a program at the school, and like several of that. So it's like, is it like a huge war-based world? Because apparently the reason tankery is a thing is because they're teaching girls to be like how to drive tanks because it has to do with independence or what. I just used it too when I was talking about the school. No. This is not determination. What's the word? Discipline. I had a mental lapse. I think some people teach them discipline. This is why tankery and like it'll make you more trying than the boys because you're driving tanks. Like one thing, it's like I'm just a guy saw a girl in a tank and like that's hot. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like these girls basically stay in these tanks and basically wire it up. They're putting in the shells, like launching the turrets. It's like, yeah, not gonna lie. If I was not gonna lie, like I'm attracted to that. I'm supposed to show something box. And then which is weird when you get to the OVA and you fan service. So like, I'm already fan service. I'll get to the OVA. Yeah, it has to do with discipline. Basically, teaching the girls basically, combat and all this stuff, and I guess like tankery. And like, it's not though. I don't know. Music one thing like, it's just like a world that's like constantly at war, so they want people to basically, learn how to operate, like battle command or strategy, like in this. But like, no, that's not explained. The tankery, what Sensu Do is what they call it, is basically it's a game. You shoot the tanks once to prove your mastery over tankery over the most school, but it's not war games where it's like they'll shoot a kill. They'll do it mainly for sport because everyone can have fun in the end. Like no one gets hurt. So it's like I still don't get how this world of Girls and Panzer works. It is the weirdest world. Because when you get to, because the world is so weird, the stories are particularly strong, and the characters don't really have arcs, it's good. I can't say I don't recommend Girls and Panzer. It's like, it's definitely a show that I would say is worth watching. I should probably watch the movie at one point, I don't want to. It's like, it's 12 episodes, it's worth watching, I guess. If anything for an interesting world building, an interesting premise, characters that are not awful, like, I don't hate the cast. I really don't even hate the story. It's like, it's a decent story about, underdog girls fighting for basically the school. Which is like, I guess it gives the whole story kind of a little more weight than most of the sports animes. The really Blue Lock. But that's different. And also it came out in 2013? Hang on, let me look up Girls and Panzer. Girls on Panzer. I think it's yeah. Okay, no. Yeah, Wikipedia will have it. It should be I think it was 2013. Yeah, animated by actors. Yeah, sport. Yeah, 2012, 2013. The movie was 2017, okay. Oh. 2015. So yeah, early 2010s. Okay, yeah. Now, there's like a weird, what's the war thing. I guess this is a world where it's like, they like maintaining tanks. And it's like, isn't another thing enough? And it's like, again, if you're just like watching, girls basically, learning how to operate tanks to basically compete in basically a sport that basically leads to strategy, it's awful fun. A lot of the time, I'm saying they like have no match. I think I want them to do Advanced Wars game because it's so tactical. And it's like, I love tactics games, so it's like, yeah, this is fun. But like, yeah, and it's 12 episodes. And then 6 OVAs, and I think the OVAs don't go longer than 15 minutes. Don't bother with the OVAs. If you're gonna watch Golden und Panzer, I wouldn't bother with the OVAs because 2 of them are fan service. Like, the first 2 episodes basically is the Golden Bikinis. It's like, okay, yeah, you have to get fan service with these, you have to get fan service somehow, but it's like, they're already operating tanks. Again, that's hard enough. You don't need fan service in that, but whatever. The third one is the one with the world building. Which again, it's like 12 episodes, you start your world building into an OVA show. One OVA is clearly the animators wanted to do a full version of a dance in the show. Because they do, rolling about they all can dance in like early in the show, and so I guess someone was like, hey, we should animate like a full dance. It's like 4 minutes. You have one that is kind of a expansion on the rendezvous plot from the Pravda fight, and the final OVA is technically played after the show, and it's them at their banquet after they won, and it's basically them kicking back and having fun. Well, these are some good jokes. Honestly, the OVAs are kind of funny. I will say this. The only thing is dub. I prefer the Japanese cast, but the dub's not bad. Particularly in the OVA, it's mainly like joke. But they have some good comedic timing. It's not bad. And I can't tell you the movie because I didn't watch it. But it's like, I watched 12 episodes and 6 OVAs. I'm not watching the movie for this. But, yeah. Can't say it's the best thing to watch for Canadian Backlog. Honestly, out of everything in my backlog so far, my favorite thing was probably Given. But like, honestly, I think Given and how heavy the Zombie was my 2 favorite things I watched for backlog. This is that's the point. Do I get more than Outcome had a problem? I tied this Outcome had a problem. Where it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. Everything is passable. Outside of the world building, what I don't get. But like, maybe that was me. I think maybe I don't know. If you watch Golden und Panzer and you don't get the world building, let me know. Leave a comment. They're like, maybe I'm totally missing an old Tango thing. And like, I really had to like, I'm about. Although this is a show with identity, I do appreciate Golden und Panzer for that. Where it's like, no, this show has an identity. You would easily recognize Golden und Panzer, over any other show, because it's like, no, this show had a very distinct look. And I'm not talking about animation. I'm talking about I'm just talking about everything in general. It's like, this world, you're not gonna confuse with anything else. Like, it is one of those things that you're not gonna confuse with like any other girls doing cute things anime, no other sports anime. No, Golden und Panzer is its own thing, and I do kind of appreciate it for that. So, yeah. I guess I would say I probably like it more than this Outcome had a problem with. It's just a slice of life kind of comedy romance. So, yeah. I'd say like it more than that, but I didn't probably like it more than How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift, which is just wholly fun. And Given was the only favorite thing I watched for this series. So, I think that's about wrapping it up for this installment of That Canadian Backlog. Thanks for listening to me talk about cute girls driving tanks. It is available to watch on High Dive. That's probably one of the reasons I wanted to talk about Golden und Panzer this week, because it's a High Dive show, and High Dive is so fun. I love watching shows. It's one of the shows that's great to watch. I love High Dive. As I said before, High Dive had some great series. So yeah, again, it's dubbed. Again, it's in Japanese. And again, the dub's not bad. I watched it in both, so it basically get a close understanding of basically the dub and the sub, and that was fine. That being said, remember to like and share this episode around. That's how we grow the group. Follow me on social media. Also, if you follow me on social media, maybe share that around with your friend. That's how we go. That's how we go a lot of the fan group. I'm trying to get a big audience, and I don't mind the fact that I'm talking to no one basically, because at the end of the day, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for anyone, but I do want people to listen to me. I do want people to think, hey, I do think if people listen to the podcast, they think, hey, no, this person is awesome. You should listen to them. But yeah, like and share the podcast around. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell random strangers. Okay, on the last one. Follow my socials, link in the description down below. Remember, no gatekeeping. We don't gatekeep this community. If you like something, you're considered a fan of it. Don't let other people tell you otherwise. There's no other thing of that. Next week is gonna be back to just me gushing about random topics again. So, thanks for listening to this episode of Backlog. And remember, when people ask, what fangirl do you listen to? That Canadian fangirl. Which Canadian fangirl? That Canadian fangirl. Alright, later, peoples.